Why an alien is in a bar drinking alcohol, baby, it's beyond me. But anyway, it was entertaining. It was a good story, but you know, some of it made no sense. I will never understand two things. Why humans never listen to dogs. When a dog be barking, they just be like, shut up. And why humans don't listen to their own goddamn instincts. Baby, I don't need no explanation. I don't need nothing to be logical. If the hairs on my neck stand up and my little subconscious self tell me to run, baby, I am just going to run. Okay? What's up? It's Nikki. Welcome back to my channel, King Nikki TV, where I give you commentary on popular movies and TV shows. In this video, I will be recapping episodes 1 and 3 of Cabinet of Curiosities, because those are the only 2 episodes that I actually enjoyed. I really only made it through to like episode 4. I didn't care for episode 2. I didn't even finish episode 4 because I really didn't care for it. So let's get right into the very first episode, which is Lot 36, about a man named Nick who buys a storage unit. I guess you like bid on these storage units. I think I've only seen this once, which was in like an episode of Criminal Minds. And the storage unit turned out to be, you know, something that belonged to a serial killer. But anyway, the way it seems to work, I suppose it works, as we see in this episode, is you rent a storage unit, you become delinquent, you get evicted, and they auction it off. Now, the episode starts with a bunch of disgustingness, a bunch of stuff that was disgusting to me. So we have an old man in a house, and he has like these trays of food, and these trays of food he dumps in the trash look so disgusting, like it literally made me want to vomit. And then he's chopping up some raw meat that I think is a chicken or a bird, but like the face looks really freaky and creepy. I guess he skinned it, child. Look, I don't know, okay, butchery is not my ministry, but it looked like he chopping up some type of meat. And I immediately started thinking, I bet he feeding a creature. Then the guy has a heart attack and dies, and I'm like, yep, he feeding a creature, and now he can't get no food to the creature. That's immediately what I was thinking. So then we see Eddie, who owns the storage place or just works at it, auctioning off Lot 36 storage unit, and it ends up going to this man named Nick. Now, Nick is so obviously a very unlikable character. Just generally unpleasant with everybody he comes into contact with. Now, after he gets the storage unit, oh, and we also see that there's some type of like deal or something going on with Eddie and Nick. They kind of are like working together. But anyway, we have this older woman who comes in to pay for the unit, and the guy, Eddie, is like, hold on now, baby, we already auctioned that off. You were delinquent. I sent a notice, and she pretty much is like, look, the notice went to the wrong address. Is there something we can do? And the black guy feels like, look, we do a lot of scheming, him and Nick, but this woman is a good woman. He wants to do right by her. He tells her, look, you see that guy right out front? That's why I sold your unit to. Maybe you can talk to him. And she tries to tell him, look, I have family pictures, things that really aren't worth money to somebody else. They just have sentimental value. And she asks him, can I just get those things? And he is pretty much just being a jerk and also being racist, because baby, don't hit me with the where are you from? That, come on now, child. So if somebody ever was like, where are you from? I'm just gonna say planet Earth. Like, what is that? Like, what is that question supposed to mean? I mean, we know what it's supposed to mean, but I'm just saying, like, who asks people that in a random conversation? But anyway, the lady is kind of, you know, just asking him for certain items in there, and he tells her, look, you can buy it for $1,000. And she tells him, look, I make that like in a month, or it takes me a month to make that, you know, cleaning or whatever her job is. But he pretty much is a jerk and just hands her the lock that was on it. And that lock gonna come into play, child. Now, Nick goes in, he grabs some items, he is getting in his truck when we see some guys come up, bash him in the head, break his windshield, and they tell him he owes like $12,000 by some, you know, X time. So presumably he in some type of gambling debt or loan shark debt. And he ends up going back into the office because he needs Eddie's first aid kit. And that is when Eddie says, look, don't go to the little 5 and dime, nickel and dime pawn shops. I got something better for you. And treat this lady good. She good people, etc., etc. Now, he ends up going to this lady to try and pawn these items, right? Agatha, that was her name. She appraising the items and everything. And I was kind of getting suspect because obviously this is a short. So I'm like, okay, we finna get to. Like, we done set this up. Like, we know the situation. Obviously something is up with the storage unit. So I thought we were finna get to the ish. Now, I will say the pacing for this episode, in my humble opinion, was terrible. Like I said, it's a short. It's a certain way it needs to be paced. We need to get the first act, middle, and then that final climactic sequence. Like, it needs to be in a certain time fashion because you don't have much runtime. But anyway, at this point, I'm getting suspicious of Agatha, and there ends up being these books in this little like seance table, and she goes into telling him she has a friend, and I'm just like, who's she calling on the phone? Nah, bro, don't walk over there and turn your back while you're on the phone. Be over here so I can hear, because I just felt like she was setting Nick up. Like, is this guy finna really buy these items, or y'all finna kill Nick off for the items? But anyway, fast forward, the guy Roland comes and he tells Nick that he is offering to pay $10,000 for the 3 books, but it is a series that has a 4th book. The 4th book is extremely rare, and we, like I said, you could tell something ain't on the up and up with the storage unit. And also, once we meet Roland, they talking about seance tables, summoning demons, binding demons, and I'm just like, baby, what's in the storage unit? What's in the storage unit? Oh, and I forgot to say, also in the, the whole thing with the storage unit, when Nick buys the storage unit, Eddie shows him security footage from the hallway of the units showing that every single solitary day for years, the old man who owned the unit walks in with the bag and walks out and the bag is empty every single day. Baby, we saw him chopping up raw meat at the top of the episode. He feeding something in there. Now, Roland talking about summoning demons and binding demons. Yeah, baby, it's a demon in there. That's literally all I could think. Now, Roland ends up telling Nick, like, look, for this 4th book, I will literally write you a check right now today for $300,000. Baby, Nick only owed the loan sharks $12,000. So yeah, that's a come up on the come up on the come up that he can't resist. Now, they end up, I was feeling real suspicious about Roland, child, but we end up leaving the appraisal place, and Roland gets in the car with Nick so that they can go to the storage unit to look for the book, because Nick is pretty much like, I only just bought the storage unit. It's a lot of stuff in there. I ain't see the book, but we finna go look for the book. Now, on the ride, Roland ends up confessing that he knows the family who owned that storage unit, and he pretty much gives the audience this backstory regarding the old man who owned the unit. Long story short, he pretty much summoned a demon that he put inside his sister. Nobody could ever find the sister. Baby, look, child, they spelling it out for us. We know what is finna come in a storage unit. The little sister is down there with this, she had the demon in her, so it ain't the little sister no more, child. It's the demon, but you know what I'm saying? It's the little sister that nobody ever heard from again, that he was going in there feeding every single day. Now, I will say I was kind of confused. Did I miss something, or was I not smart enough to piece something together? I didn't know what the Hispanic lady had to do, because it was a white man who owned the storage unit, and there were pictures with like Nazi symbols in the storage unit, and I'm like, hold on, what the Hispanic lady got to do with white folks? That threw me, y'all. What did I miss? What was I too not smart enough to get? Now, we get to the storage unit, and Roland, okay, when Nick was pawning items, one item was this gold candle holder, and apparently it has these powers because that 4th book can just spontaneously combust. And he brings that with us. Obviously, we know like all this stuff is finna come into play. We know it's a demon in here, but like I said, it's taking way too long for us to get to. Now, it is so very obvious where the story is leading to. Nick, jerk. Obviously, he gonna get his comeuppance. Then he keeps getting warning after warning after warning after warning. Now, y'all, we get to the storage unit, right? And it's just now, I want to say, look, this episode was good. I enjoyed it. But this final little third act, it was very anticlimactic. I feel like you already can expect something is going to happen, and they didn't do well. It wasn't a very good building of like tension. It really was no suspense. I mean, you know something is in the storage unit. I guess it's a bit of suspense because you don't know like exactly what we're going to see in there, but you can kind of deduce it's going to be a demon. The Roland told us that the white guy was running in occult circles. Now, we get to the storage unit, right? And we're looking for this book. And it was mentioned earlier in the episode that the storage unit was a smaller size than it should be, right? And Eddie just kind of blows it off like, look, it was built way back in the way back. Stuff was different sizes, et cetera, et cetera. He kind of just blows it off. But ding, 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 clue for the audience, the storage unit should be bigger. So we get to the storage unit. We discover there's like a little wall that we can just, push open because it leads to more. And we're walking down and we see this thing lying on the ground in this circle. Has long hair and is shaped like a person, but the face has been like eaten out, hollowed out. There's tentacles. Is that what it's called? The monster is in that child. The demon is in that. You can kind of see the little tentacles in the little opening of the face. And Roland, again, the 50th millionth warning to Nick that the monster has been bound in this little circle. Don't touch the book. We see the book across the room. Don't break the circle. And Nick is just like, F this, I'm going for the book. Now, honestly, I get Nick not listening to this stuff beforehand because he don't believe it. But it ain't make no sense to me that you can literally see this weird ass creature, monster, hollowed out face thing laying in the middle of the floor and you just say F this and walk past it. That didn't make any sense to me. And then it didn't make any sense to me to be in a hurry for Nick to have to be the one to walk across the room and get the book. You already have a buyer for the book. He's going to give you $300,000. Why do you need to run across the room and just grab the book up super quick? I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. But obviously, he breaks the circle. He grabs the book. The little demon wakes up. And I'm mad if I'm Roland because, baby, I told you. And Roland had to be the first one to die. He had to die because Nick was an idiot. So Nick runs out. He gets to a door, which is locked from the outside. And who just so happens to be the Hispanic lady? Because she been hanging around. He saw her I want to say twice earlier when he was at the little storage unit. She been slinking around, child, because she what's up in there. So he's like, can you please help me open the door? And she pulls up that lock that he gave her and just locks him in there. And he gets eaten by the monster. Now, I feel like this episode, it started off pretty strong. It did. And I feel like it was a good story. I was interested in the story. I feel like I was quickly invested in it, but the pacing was so slow. I was just like, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was paced well because we spent way too much time on the little build up, which I get, but it's like, okay, y'all done set it up. Let's move on. You can kind of tell where the story is headed. Like I said, we know there's something in the storage unit that Nick and Roland is about to come into contact with. But since that was so obvious, I thought there would be some type of surprise. In the third act, there would be something we weren't expecting. Something would come out of left field. But no, it was exactly what you were expecting. The monster was great. Like the design of the monster was great. But it was here and it was gone in like 30 seconds. It wasn't a very satisfying third act. It wasn't a very satisfying conclusion. It was just too much time and effort on that beginning part of the story, and not enough effort in that third sequence, and even like the second act, because it was just way too drawn out, monotonous, and it's like we could have really gotten something way more exciting for such a short runtime. Like, these are shorts. You're supposed to have a certain pacing for this. Like, we ain't got time for like a long drawn out sequence. I don't know. I just feel like I really hate how this was structured. It really drags. It really drags. Like, I was very into that first act. It didn't drag. It was setting everything up great. But then it started to drag, and I was just like, come on now, child. Like, I get they wanted to give us a little backstory on the white guy from Roland, but it's like, come on, child. We could have paced this a little better. We could have really, wrapped this up in a certain way in that first act, and then really kind of ramped something up, and then really gave us a good climactic ending. Now, this was a good third act. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't like, oh, wow, like, oh, okay, like, I don't know. It was entertaining. It was a good story. It was a good concept. It was good actors. The ending fell flat, but this was still, to me, a shining episode out of the other ones. Now, I feel like it was good and it could have been great. We needed a better like climax at the end, and we needed more like mystery and intrigue and like a little surprise, because it was just way too predictable. It was really easy to clock. Now, our antagonist, Nick, while he technically is not a likable character, he's generally unpleasant, like just a complete jerk child. Like, even to like Roland, like, baby, I'm about to give you $300,000. Can you at least humor me? I do feel like I enjoyed that actor, and I enjoyed how he played the character. While you did not root for his character, he was still an enjoyable character and enjoyable actor to see on screen. So that was good. Then I just feel like the monster, the CGI, the design of that monster, it was great. It was creepy, and I love the atmosphere of the little storage unit place. Great. I remember they had a little storage unit scene in Strain that was great. I don't know if somebody storage unit child is creepy. So all of that worked really well. We just needed a writer who could really combine all these elements in a much more efficient way for this runtime, and not just give us like 3 minutes at the end for the climactic sequence that wasn't very climactic, but you know what I mean? But look, bro, he got his comeuppance. But I do want to know, how did the Hispanic lady get the demon back in that little bound circle? Like, now the demon just running loose inside the storage unit, child. All she did was lock the door. So who gonna go in there and bind the demon again? And hold on, can we bind the demon, or did that book combust? Now, Roland did explain all of that to us when we were in the appraisal building, but baby, I can't remember. But he was pretty much giving us the rules on it. Like, the book won't combust if you bind the demon, and I guess like the demon don't get his reward. Something along them lines, child. Look, they told us in the story. Now, let's get into the next episode, which is episode 3, The Autopsy. Now, this for me was the #1 best episode out of all of them. I really enjoyed this, and I kind of want to say, I've seen quite a few horror shorts. I want to say this was the best. Don't quote me though, because I don't know if I can remember every single solitary horror short I've ever seen in my entire life. I've seen a few, but I really feel like this is how you do a horror short. Like, this is the blueprint for a horror short. While not perfect, baby, it was good. Like, I really thoroughly enjoyed The Autopsy. Now, with The Autopsy, we pretty much have a sheriff named Nate, who I really love this actor. I enjoy him anytime I see him. Now, we have Nate, who is the sheriff, and he is involved in the most incompetent, him and his deputies, like arrest or apprehension of a goddamn suspect I done ever seen, child. We have a group of men, when the episode starts off, we have a group of men who are killed in a coal mine under mysterious circumstances. So Nate ends up calling in his longtime friend, Dr. Carl Winter. Winters, who is currently dying of cancer. He wants Carl to do an autopsy on the bodies. He wants proof of how the men died because, you know, companies be shady and they're trying to say that workers' comp will not pay out if their death wasn't, you know, if someone came in and blew up a bomb, baby, we ain't got nothing to do with that. We're not paying the workers' comp on that. And Nate feels like it's not right. And so he wants his friend in to do the autopsy to verify their cause of death. Now, episode 3 had really great elements to me. It was very like horror, science fiction. We had like crime, mystery. It wasn't scary, like no elements in it, in my humble opinion. I would think come off as scary, but it was a great story, amazing visuals, competent suspense and tension. Oh my God, the tension really builds in like that third act. It was really good. We are dealing with an alien, and per usual, the alien wants to take over the human race, child. Because what else do aliens want to do? I don't know why y'all be wanting to find aliens so bad, because it never worked out good for us. This is kind of like Attack of the Body Snatchers-esque kind of story. Now, I like how the story is told to us. I like how in the very beginning we get like a piece of the story, and then later in the episode they give us the completion of the story of everything, exactly how it went down in the coal mine. Now, at the top of the episode, we see some guy running in there. He jumps on the little elevator thingy. They're yelling at him. And he ends up with this little thing, which ain't make sense to me, child. They just staring at the little thing. All the ran out of back, but it explodes. And that's where that part of the story cuts out, and we get Nate. And he pretty much, in telling the story to the doctor, they take us through the story of how they had, did I put his name in here? What was his name? Eddie / Joe Allen. We pretty much have a co-worker named, I feel like it sounded like I said co-worker, named Eddie. And he was last heard from when he wanted to go out in the woods to watch a meteor shower. He was never heard from again. A little while later, while bodies are disappearing throughout this time to just never be seen again, they end up having him sighted in a bar. Why an alien is in a bar drinking alcohol, baby, it's beyond me. But anyway, this other guy recognizes him, and the alien, as Eddie, tries to say, you got me confused with somebody else, I'm Joe Allen. And the guy just keeps going on like, no, I know you, we work together. And this was weird to me. The alien pretty much verbally controls the other guy, telling him to waste your beer, act like you're drunk so I can take you out of here, give me your keys. And then as the sheriff and his people are looking through the woods, we come across the body of that patron who was in the bar, and this sends us looking for Joe Allen. We get to the hotel where Joe Allen is staying at, and we come across this weird little the ball we saw at the top of the episode that blew up. And the lady who owns the hotel pretty much says that the guy came back with this. He says he found it in the woods during the meteor shower. The Sheriff Nate puts it in the backseat of his car. They head over to the coal mine where the Joe Allen Eddie guy works. And this was, y'all, I just feel like this gotta be a little small town that don't do nothing but get cats out of trees, because all this was just so crazy. They pull up to the job. They're at the office, and the alien Joe Allen guy comes out. And this ain't make sense to me. The deputies pulled their gun on the guy, but the sheriff is like, no, put your guns down. Hold on, baby, we are trying to apprehend somebody who is suspected of being like freaking armed and dangerous. Like, all the missing folk and dead body we just found, we all adding up to this guy. Plus, I forgot to say, when we find the dead body, the sheriff enlists these two guys that are good with hunting to wait in the woods at certain spots, which I didn't think made sense, child, because if the killer come back to hell, they supposed to do. But anyway, they end up disappearing. Why would you tell the deputies to drop their gun? Like, this stuff be so confusing to me. Like, in any other circumstance, like, folks twitch and they get shot. But in this circumstance, where the guy is really armed and dangerous, you telling them to put their guns down. That just not make, it ain't make no sense to me how much this Joe Allen guy was able to do right here in front of the cops. He literally goes to the sheriff's car, breaks the window, takes out the little ball thingy, and runs inside the mine. Not one shot fired to try to stop this fool. Come on now, child. But anyway, it was entertaining. It was a good story, but you know, some of it made no sense. But long story short, he gets inside. The part we saw at the top of the episode. He jumps on the elevator. He goes down. This thing explodes. And Nate, the sheriff, tells Carl they could not even find the ball, and it was no evidence found that there was even an explosion, right? Now, and the body they found, disgusting. Looks so disgusting. Now, and the sheriff, when he was telling the story to the doctor, he says that him and his deputies might as well have stayed home in the bed for all the good they did. Spot on, Jack. Like, I can't argue with that, because y'all ain't do nothing. You actually made it worse. Like, that whole scene when they trying to apprehend him, I was just like, come on now, child. Like, are we for real? But anyway, now another theme that is coming up is that there is no blood in the body. None at all when they find them. Now, they end up having the doctor do the autopsies, right? And it's like a makeshift morgue, because they don't actually have an actual morgue, but they set like one up for the doctor. He's left there by himself. And this was really giving me the Autopsy of Jane Doe vibes, which is a good thing. That's a positive. I love that movie. I really loved how this was set up. This whole sequence starting at the morgue was really good. Like, it was an interesting story, but once we got here, a lot of it just really ramped up on the tension and the atmosphere, and just like, oh shoot, like we know that. And I was kind of feeling like, hold on now, baby, is the alien dead or not? Like, was it a bomb or not? Like, did it blow up? Like, what did the alien do down there, child? And then I was like, hold on, no, the alien, I bet the alien wanted to get here. Like, that alien is fine, because the alien is living inside the man, right? I went, y'all, okay. But I was just having all the feels. Like, I really liked how they paced this and how they set this whole sequence up. I thought it was really good. Now, I didn't understand this. The doctor is down there doing the autopsy, and y'all, disgusting. I mean, it's called the autopsy, and baby, we got autopsied. Body horror, as I think the kids is calling it. It was disgusting. Yeah, it was disgusting. And it looked so real. Baby, what they make that fake skin out of? Because when the doctor was stitching the body back up and cutting the body out, the man, that itch looked so real. It looked so real. I would never want to be an actor, but I would love to be the folks who do like the special effects and all that stuff. Child, that's got to be a fun job. That has got to be a fun job. Now, the doctor is in the morgue. He's worked on a few bodies. All of a sudden, the hairs on the back of his neck stands up, which you know that means your instincts is hitting you. Something ain't up, something ain't right. It's danger nearby. Y'all know what that means. And then, like, his subconscious, like his reflection whispers to him, run. Hey, baby, why he say? He just sitting there like, run from what? Like, what? Why? What? Baby, don't ask no questions. Run. I will never understand two things. Why humans never listen to dogs. When a dog be barking, they just be like, shut up. And why humans don't listen to their own goddamn instincts. Baby, I don't need no explanation. I don't need nothing to be logical. If the hairs on my neck stand up and my little subconscious self tell me to run, baby, I am just going to run. Okay? Like, I don't need nothing justified. I will never forget being a teenager. My mama forced me, because she used to always say she didn't want me being lazy in the summertime. She forced me to be a camp counselor at the church little summer camp. The church, it was like the regular big old church. Then you had, the pulpit and all that. And then you went to the back, and that's where people got baptized. And then you went further to the back, and I was like the dining room and the kitchen. I got to get y'all the setup. I'm in the whole big regular church. All of a sudden, niggas start running past me. Baby, do you think I asked any questions? No, I took the hell off running. And ain't nobody stopped running till we was all the way at the end of the most yard parking lot. And that was the moment when I was like, baby, why was we running? Come to find out, child, them kids was running because it was a spider. But the point is, when your instincts or anything says run, you just run. I did not understand why the doctor just and listen to this. I don't know. That was odd to me. I don't know. So I'm watching and I'm seeing all these bodies and I'm just expecting these bodies to get up because I'm sitting here as I'm going through because I'm just that kind of movie watcher. You know, you be trying to like anticipate what's going to happen. I was sitting here like, hold on now. Why would the alien blow them folks up down there? Oh, no, wait. What if that ball wasn't an explosion? What if it's something the alien's setting up? What if that was like little eggs or something and not everybody else got an alien in them? I was just sitting here really just waiting and expecting for something to happen. But I was just like, this may not have been like a bomb for destruction. This could have been like his aim the whole time, his escape, or him getting a bunch of other little aliens, parasite thingies in here. Now, y'all, something else I ain't understand. The doctor goes because he's about to do the autopsy on the Joe Allen guy. Y'all, the dead body gets the hell up. And the doctor just standing there. Now, you can't tell me that at this point, anybody in their right mind is not finna run. I like, the body gets up, it starts like crawling on the ground, and the doctor just kind of standing up. No, baby, run. But this was really cool. Like, I liked all this. I love the visuals of all of this. The alien being, it looked disgusting. I'm jumping ahead, but that little, like the actual alien that was inside the guy, I was like, oh, I loved it. I want to know who designed this stuff. Can I buy that alien? I want that alien. Now, the alien in the, Joe Allen goes after the doctor. The next thing we know, the doctor wakes up laying down on a little table. One arm is tied up. The other arm is like tied, but it's loose. And the alien pretty much takes us through everything. And the alien's plan is to get inside the doctor, but he wants the autopsy on Joe Allen to look real so nobody suspects anything. So he's talking as he is doing the autopsy on the Joe Allen guy's body. And the alien then proceeds to come out of Joe Allen to get into the doctor, and the doctor pretty much is telling him, like, you're so arrogant, it's something you forgot about, but the doctor won't say what it is. He's just like, forget it. And at this point, what I was thinking, and I was like, I was like, damn, am I wrong? But I feel like it's that tape recorder, because the whole time the doctor's doing the autopsy, he's recording something for the sheriff. And anytime you see people do an autopsy on TV, they're always, the medical examiner is recording it. And so that's what I was like, wait, is that what he's talking about? But that won't matter, because once he gets inside you, you. But that was not the doctor's only plan. Now, the Joe Allen body had a scalpel in his hand, and the alien needs humans to have any type of senses, to hear, to see, or anything. So once the alien comes out of Joe Allen, he can't see nothing, can't hear nothing. So the doctor is sitting there trying to think, like, what can I do? So he ends up getting the scalpel from Joe Allen, and he cuts himself so he could write a message in blood on his chest, which I did not understand why the message was upside down. Because, when you be writing this way, why would you be trying to write upside? I don't know. I feel like the message should have been upside down. But anyway, he writes a message on his chest in blood. And then, he takes the scalpel and he stabs himself in both ears. Then he stabs his eyes out. Because remember, the alien needs us to have those senses. And then the alien gets inside him, and he ends up letting the alien know that what he forgot was the recorder, which is what I thought. But when I thought that wouldn't matter, it does matter. It is going to come into play, because even though the alien is now him, the alien cannot see or hear. And the alien pretty much is like, well, I just wait for your friend to get here, which he did say earlier that the sheriff would be their first meal. And it was kind of sad, though. While the alien is inside Joe Allen, he pretty much is aware of everything. He just can't do nothing. I thought that was pretty sad. Now, I thought this was a good little suspense, because as this is happening and the doctor is saying, I'm about to bleed out in a few minutes, we see the sheriff coming up, and I'm just like, is the sheriff gonna get there before he bleed out? But the sheriff does get there after he bleeds out, and he sees his friend laying on the ground with the message on his chest that says, play tape burned my body. So even though, like the doctor said, the tape may not have captured every single solitary thing, it got enough. It got the Joe Allen alien guy doing his own autopsy and talking and telling us about everything. I don't know why bad guys in these movies always be running their mouth and talking. Like, bad guys love to talk, child. They want to tell you everything. Now, I really enjoy the guy who played Nate. I really enjoy F. Murray Abraham as the doctor. Anytime I see them, like, they're just great. And I feel like this story, they both really carried this. The acting was top tier. Now, this episode has some great gore. It has some really great gore. I mean, it's called The Autopsy. We got the autopsy. And I gotta say, woo, child, look, child. Yeah. I don't know. If you squeamish, you might not have liked this. Now, I feel like this is kind of a typical story. Like I said, it's very Attack of the Body Snatchers. Alien it does the typical thing that all aliens do in these stories. But I feel like it was told in a really refreshing and entertaining way. And I like how it's like a horror short, but it was very much like horror, sci-fi, crime, mystery. I like how they threw that in there. Now, I personally feel we had some good tension and suspense, but nothing as suspense like a ticking clock. Like when we were in that whole sequence and we knew the sheriff would be coming in the morning, I thought that was really good. That was some really great anticipation. At least I think it was, because I was like, baby, is the sheriff gonna get here? Because I felt like, doctor, don't do no ish where you bleed out. You need to do something where you finna like quickly die, because that bleed out ish, you might not bleed out just in time, because we did not know what time it was or how long till the sheriff was going to be there, because we know the sheriff was going to be there in the morning, but we ain't know exactly what time this was all going down when he had cut himself. I feel like this episode is really the supreme one, because every single element just works so well together. I mean, the actors, the script, the dialogue, the pacing, the director, the camera shots, the gore, the story, like everything really worked together very well. I honestly feel like most of these episodes was kind of mediocre. Even though, like I said, I only saw 4. And episode 1 was good, mildly entertaining, but like I said, the ending fell flat. 3 for me, though, is the shining star and the highlight. Under an hour runtime, we got great plot development. That final sequence was a great climactic ending sequence. That is how, episode 1, take notes. This is how you pace the episode. Even though I think, if I'm not mistaken, episode 3 had the longest runtime, but it ain't like it was like, I want to say it was like 50 minutes. 50, was it? I think, don't quote me. I loved how the doctor was very calculating and had to outsmart this age-old alien in such a short amount of time. And not only that, but it felt believable. The alien is extremely arrogant. The alien is obviously, the way he set it up, where that recording was going and where he was able to get his senses out, like it didn't just wrap up in a convenient way or a way that felt contrived. It felt like it made sense. The doctor could outsmart the alien in the way that he did, and I enjoyed that. I loved the dialogue between Joe Allen, alien, and the doctor, and then how the dialogue continued once the alien was inside the doctor. It was all really good. Now, I'm a gore fiend, so some people might not enjoy the gore in this episode, but I loved it. I was like overjoyed and disgusted and couldn't look away all at the same damn time. The autopsy overall is just a dark, creepy, like mystery type story. It's grotesque. Everyone involved deserved an award. Child, how can I just be the special effects person on the set for like a day? Like, can I just Be a little intern. I just feel like that would be so fun. This literally might be the best horror short ever. I don't know, don't quote me, but that's what I'm saying right now today. I might say something different when I come up on another horror short that I have seen, and I'll be like, oh shoot, I forgot about this one. But it is definitely in the top spot. Let me know in the comments, how did you feel about Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities? I hate saying his names. I feel like I'm just so country. I always just mess up names with anything, you know, need any type of accent. Now, let me know in the comments, as I was saying, how did you feel about Cabinet of Curiosities overall? Did you make it past episode 1? Did you make it past episode 4? Did you make it through all of the episodes? And what are your opinions on it? Are there any episodes after 4 that I need to jump in and see that are worth my time? Thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.